Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Daniel Williams, and today, before I begin my rambling, I unpurposefully slowed the footage down to a very slow pace. It looks annoying, I know, but the only excuse I have of it is so that I can talk. Because literally, the entire match, or this entire game, including two more, is 7.5 minutes, and I feel like I want the extra time to talk about a few other things. But first, I want to try something new to start off the video, especially these ones, because the past, if not majority of the videos that I have made so far have literally been me talking about me, my life, my opinions, and all that. But for this bit, before I actually talk about myself and what I really wanted to talk about, is to check up on you guys. I don't have a great audience or something like that as of right now, but I just wanted to see how you guys are doing. I want you guys to be as open if you want to. Just let me know if you're feeling alright, if you're having a good day, bad day, worst day, the greatest day of your entire life. Maybe in between. I don't know, but I just want to get engaged with my audience a little bit so that we would have like a personal connection a little bit. Sort of like we're being friends to a certain degree. Like, we know each other, but we also want to know each other emotionally deeply and all that. So with that, feel free to comment down below if you are having a bad day, good day, how are you feeling, and all that. And the only thing I ask is to keep the language moderate, because personally for me, I think I've told my parents about this where I've started a YouTube channel, but I'm not sure if they looked at the YouTube comments, and I have those open just in case if somebody wants to say something. And I should have mentioned this before, but if she finds like a comment or something like that on like one of my posts where it says something like a swear word, for me it's equivalent to your parents looking through your search history. It's stupid, I know, and I apologize, but if you can, that's all I'm asking. Try to keep it clean enough without much profanity. Let me use that word. So, other than that, I apologize. Let's continue on with the video. Here's what I wanted to talk about, because I was looking through an idea of what to talk about for this specific voiceover, and I couldn't find anything. And though I mentioned in like one of the videos beforehand that I was going to use the Uno background as something for Miraculous Ladybug, but probably the next Miraculous Ladybug won't be until May, because the next episode doesn't come out until the end of April. According to my memories, April 26th. But I don't think I would have waited so long for a video like that, especially with the Uno background. So besides the point, here's I was just looking through CapCut to like find something to extend the video a little bit, and I stumbled upon what I've written on like a marker board, forms for like other fan Kamen Rider Super Sentai that I have created, and that's gonna be what I'm gonna talk about. Unfortunately, I do not have a piece of footage where I drew the the Rider rather. So that's most likely gonna be a future video, and I don't remember if I mentioned this ever in like video or anything, but what I wanted to do is, like, after I talk about one kamarada with a drawing, with like a time lapse of a drawing, I follow up with like another video basically explaining the detail or the thing I wanted to make it stand out rather about the show itself. And to the previous kamarada video or project video, it was about Layoreda. And the one thing I wanted to talk about with Layoreda is about his forms. Though he only has like 7 or so, I really wanted to talk about them because I put statistics on them that I feel like would make it balanced in some sort of way. But I'm not going to go in depth about the forms because that's not the main premise. And also, I was contemplating on what to do for Motowari in terms of his second video because I can't necessarily do his forms along with or very similar to Layoreda because his forms are not necessarily weighed upon with statistics. His forms are kind of they're sort of like, how am I gonna say this? It reminds me of like Kamerada Birdo. For some reason I thought of Kamerada Gachado because each one has like a distinct super ability or something like that, but I wanted to go with Kamerada Birdo because it's sort of like each particle is sort of like at the same energy level but has something unique and different about them to where it, one, makes them different, and two, what I've already just said, makes them unique and kind of stands them out on their own way, which is kind of necessarily what I want to do with his forms, and specifically for Kamen Motowari, I'm not going to focus on the statistics. I'm going to focus on the statistics. And also contemplating on what to do for the second Raida video, the Hooded Raidas that I haven't recently remade, but I did, please excuse me, the Layoreda video, not Layoreda, please excuse me, Hooded Raida video, which I've done twice. First one, to be fair and honest, it felt categoried because I put a lot of cuts in there. Because what I did, it was like, I just went on a rant, I cut it, I went on a rant, and then I put that video off multiple times. And multiple times I did put it off to literally edit. It would only take like a full 2 hours just to sit down and edit it. But I decided, well, no, I'm too lazy. No, I'm not going to edit it. So I went with it again or attempted it again so that I can do it what I literally said in that video and sum it up in like 10 minutes. The intention was 10 minutes. I think it took like 15, if not 20. But, yeah. Another thing I kind of noticed in that video was that it's like I've been stumbling and repeating myself multiple times, which, if I have a habit of doing for some reason, I'm not entirely sure why. So, I'll work on that, but that's not really the point. The point is trying to find an idea for the second video, because for the Reddits, I got none. Because I wanted to do something unique for each form. Let me rephrase that. Not each form, each video when I talk about these. Because I have Layoreda for statistics, and I wanted to do something different with Motowari as well as the Hooded Raidas. And the only thing that sticks out to me with the Hooded Raidas personally is the fact that Hooded Raidas is to be more of a comedic action film versus like a physical Super Sentai series where it has like a main plot line, it goes through like a story. It's sort of like a I don't know what it's called. Called entirely, but I don't want it to be exactly the same as Super Sentai. Super Sentai shows have been formatted looking at Gozuja, because for some reason it gives off way too many comedic vibes to where it keeps me very entertained. And oh my goodness. I've said this before. In my mind, I absolutely love Gozuja as up to this point. I'm just gonna say that and then I'll move on. This one I have kind of made so many scenarios and imaginations about. Well, actually, the better word is fantasies, but it felt weird to say because it sounds kinky. I've had so many ideas with the Hooded-itis in terms of scenes and all that, because, again, it's supposed to be a comedic show, and I had so many ideas on it. I kind of wrote it down. I wrote it down on, like, one of my notebooks, and it's literally the main premise of the entire episode. So, for example, I have each Raida separated by at least 5 episodes or so, up until the Hooded Samurai, because it takes her like 3 episodes to get her introduced, as well as 2 more heroes to be introduced, sort of like the same episode next to her. Though the Hooded Samurai, quote unquote, has already been appeared within the show, and since you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm just putting it out there if I haven't done that already. This show is not real yet, I hope, but what I'm trying to get at is the Hooded Samurai, aka Michaela, has been appearing here and there whenever necessary. Well, not necessarily whenever necessary, but most specifically as like a background character, kind of, to where she's there, you notice her, and she's just doing her own thing and all that, and she doesn't really make much of an appearance until when her debut comes out. So, rambled for like a minute on, I don't know how long I've rambled on the Hooded-itis, but overall, that's not necessarily what I'm going to talk about, because I wanted to talk about one of the other ones that I've thought of. I have like at least 10 more, I think, maybe a few more to come up with later. So, for example, I made a video on this like somewhere within last month where I like redid the entire story of whatchamacallit, Ninja Steel, made it an entirely different thing, and it was like my next Super Sentai thing, and then I had another idea where basically I pretty much did Ninpu Sentai Hurricane different. Yeah, so pretty much I have like 2 out of pocket that I want to necessarily make them like redos or something like that. And there was like one more, which was technically an original idea, but it was like one of the very first ideas I've actually had for Super Sentai and all that. But technically for like right now, I'm not going to talk about them because I'm running out of time quite slowly. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going to ramble about. I'm just going to put that out there and say that I'm going to try to keep the uploads as consistent, because it felt like that for the past few weeks. Granted, actually, I think I've only made it like consistent enough for like twice, and I haven't uploaded between this week of this recording. But overall, that's all. Have a good day.